Hey students, so this is lesson 525. In this lesson we're going to learn some quicker ways to multiply binomials. As you know, the ways that we have so far, the distributed property and using a table, you have to write some things out. With these methods you'll be able to just multiply right from the product. The first one we're going to do is called the horizontal method, and in that method, remember when we're doing an area model, we always end up with 4 parts. So there's 4 things we need to multiply. Well, the horizontal method is just saying, all right, let's just multiply those 4 parts. So let's multiply the x times the x, and the x times the minus 4. And then we'll multiply the 3 times the x, and the 3 times the minus 4. And we'll just write it down as we go. So we have x times x, with 2 blue arrows. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. And then the red arrows, we have 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And then we'll just combine those 2 like terms, and we'll make it x squared minus 1x minus 12. So it's a little quicker than filling out this whole window pane thing. All right, so why don't you go ahead and try one of those? Use that horizontal method. Pause right now and you try it here and see how you like that. I'll check back with you. All right, so if you did that right, you multiplied the y times the y and got y squared. Then the y times the minus 3, and that's minus 3y. Then you did the 6 times the y, and that's 6y. And then the 6 times the minus 3, and that's minus 18. And combining like terms, negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3y minus 18. All right. If you want to practice a couple of those, go ahead and pause right now and just practice a couple, because I'm going to show you another way to do another shortcut method you can use. And this method is called the FOIL method. FOIL is actually an acronym for, the F is for first, the O is for the outside, and I'll show you what that means in a second. The I is for the inside, and the L is for last. So again, we're multiplying 4 things, and the acronym just tells us which ones to multiply. So the first are the first 2 numbers in the binomial, so x times x. So that's our first, and that gives us x second. Okay, and then the outside, those are the outside 2 expressions in the, and I'll underline those in green, the outside 2 numbers in the 2 binomials, the x and the 5. When we multiply those, we get 5x, so that's the outside. And then the inside 2 expressions are the minus 2 and the x. So inside is minus 2 times x is minus 2x. And the last 2 would be the last number in the first expression times the last number in the second expression, which is negative 2 times 5, which makes minus 10. And then as you're doing that, you can just do in your head the subtraction that you have to do, the 5x minus the 2x. So you get x squared plus 5x. 5x minus 2x is 3x. X squared plus 3x minus 10. All right. So why don't you go ahead and try that using the FOIL method on number 6 here. I'll pause now, and you can pause and try it and see if you get the right answer. All right, so if you multiplied the first 2 together correctly, you multiplied the y and the y and got y squared. If you multiplied the outside 2 correctly, you multiplied the y and the minus 4 and got negative 4y. I'm just going to put a little note here, negative 4y. I'm not going to write it down as an expression with 4 terms. And then we're going to take the inside 2 terms, and that's the 7 in the y, that's plus 7y. Now what I'm going to do is just do those in my head. So I have negative 4y plus 7y makes 3y when I combine them. And then the last 2 that I have are the 7 and the negative 4, and 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. And that's how you get that expression. If you want to go ahead and try a couple more, you can. I'm going to do one more problem with you, and that's this part C here. What we want to do is decide whether the equation is true for all values of x. Explain how you know your answer is correct. If the equation is true for some but not all values of x, indicate which values make it true. So, in this first one, in order to multiply 2 things together and get 0, one of them has to be 0. So we either get 0 from this expression, x minus 2, or we get 0 from this expression. And the value of x that makes x minus 2 equal to 0 is 2. So x equals 2 there. And the value of x that makes x minus 3 equal to 0 is x equals 3. Now one way we can check that is just use our calculator to do that. All right, so on my calculator I entered the equation, and remember I want it to equal 0, so I'm going to go ahead and go to my table, and table's off, so I'm going to do table set, make it go up by 1s. And I wanted it to equal 0. Well, if you look right here, you can see that it equals 0 for 2 and 3, but for everything else, this is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger that way. And same with if we get less than, the y values keep getting bigger and bigger, so we're never going to get 0 again. So what we're going to say is on this problem that it's true when x equals 2 and x equals 3. All right, for the second problem, again, we could use our calculator to do that. We could put x plus 3 times quantity x plus 2 in one y spot and put x squared plus 5x plus 6 in the other. And we'll just do that to check it. So we just need to change this to plus 2 and plus 3. And our other equation, we're going to do x squared plus 5x plus 6. I'm going to go to my table again. And notice that no matter what x is, the y values are the same. So we're going to hypothesize that that they're going to be true for all values. And just to prove that, we're going to do x plus 3 times quantity x plus 2 and show that it's equal to this exactly by expanding it. So we'll use the FOIL method here. X times x is x squared. The outside give us 2x, the inside give us 3x. When we add those together, we get 5x, and the last 2 are the 3 and the 2, so that's 6. And obviously these are exactly the same now, so it has to be true for all values. All right. That's going to be it for this lesson. Go ahead and try a couple other problems if you feel comfortable doing that. Otherwise, we'll talk about this more next time we meet.